Woke up on our first morning on the MacGregor
So tired.
in
Slept well though.
Lake Powell. We're directly across the bay from the marina that we used to put in on the boat ramp. But we're in a bay where there's no folks.
State Line Marina, not the Wahweap.
State line is right over here. Not the Wahweap. We bought it at like 5 o'clock on Saturday. Drove it 379 miles with a U-Haul pickup truck. Got here on Monday evening. Pulled directly up next to a MacGregor 26X. Theirs was a 2000. This is a 1996, so they're a little different, but they're sisters.
Twin sister boats.
Yeah, and we were the only two boats at the marina at the time. Since then, we've seen only one other sailboat on the whole marina, and it was a MacGregor 26M in the first slip at the resort. So it seems like the only sailboat you use on Lake Powell is the hybrid bastard motor sailor 26X. So this one has been de-rigged for sailing by the previous owner. It has a decrepit jib back here on the rolling furler. It is all dissolving on its rigging. I imagine when we open up that rolled up boom, the mainsail will be in similar conditions. So we bought this with the intention of having to put money into a brand new set of sails actually to sail it. But it had the original 50 horsepower Nissan, which we heard turn over in the downtown Salt Lake City parking lot that we bought it in. But we hadn't heard it actually catch because we didn't have a water source for muffs on the engine. So we got it in at the dock and it turned over pretty well. And my inexperience with motors, I didn't realize I wasn't getting the revs up high enough to keep it running. Once I got it running, we were able to cast off from the dock and take off and head down to the Antelope Point Marina, where we're headed from Wahweap.
Where they conveniently had a gas station.
Because we got halfway through that canyon and the engine died. And then I realized what felt like a heavy gas can to me was already empty, and I should have taken it out and made sure it had the 6.6 gallons it contained, because 6 gallons is definitely enough to get to that marina. So it was obviously already half empty. We might have left with 2 gallons, but luckily before we left, he told us he had a 1 gallon emergency tank, and we took it while we were riding the wave of another boat. The wake waves were rocking us back and forth as we tried to fill up the gas tank. And it restarted, and that last gallon took us right to the marina gas station, and we docked for the first time getting gas.
And he did a pretty good job navigating into the slip.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So we took our Walmart bedding set and set up the rear berth, and we got dinner at the Antelope Point restaurant where you can park in front of it, and that was our second time parking the boat.
And the food was really pretty good, and they were very accommodating and kind to us.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing that there was a dockside restaurant right there, and we were like, how are we going to get the food tonight, since we packed nothing but Nutter Butters and popcorn?
Yeah, we just have snacks at this point, but it was really good, and it set us for the night.
Yeah.
In terms of hunger.
And the boat is giving us a spinning panorama view as it's on anchor, which was also the first time I'd ever dropped an anchor.
And it seems to be working, but this is a really beautiful area.
And I decided to make the video first thing when we got up, rather than document it along the way in case any of that tomfoolery led to our doom. And then that would be a document that forever captured all the mistakes that we made along the way. But since we seem to have survived,
I think we get an A for effort and kind of an A for execution too, considering we're learning.
Yeah. So there's a working, the steering has been disconnected to the rudders on this thing. So it's simply set up as the motor part of the motor sailor. I'm gonna have to take some photos of the steering linkage and probably order parts from Blue Water Yachts for the original steering system. They seem to have like 4 or 5 different sets that you can, according to what year you have. We're gonna get the rudders working. We're going to probably order a new mainsail with 2 reefs in it and a new Genoa for the rolling furler and a UV bag because we're in Arizona and I don't trust a roll-up UV out that sits on the jib all year round. I want to have it encased in some heavier canvas. And then it should be able to, we can start the sailing part of the adventure. We also need the little pins that MacGregor uses on the stay sets.
And the mast pins?
No, these little stay lines that are
Oh, okay.
on the hardware here, on the lifelines. Those stays that are attaching it, that's what holds the mast up. So the stays that attach the spreaders and the backstay and forestay when you raise the mast don't have any of the pins. None of that hardware came with the boat. So there was no way we were getting the mast up to just look at our destroyed sail, which is fine. We'll just order the pins and the sails at the same time and we'll take another trip up here. Because Lake Powell has long-term storage and the monthly cost for dry storing a MacGregor 26X is $62.50 a month.
As opposed to if we wanted to go to San Diego, where it would probably be circa 400.
Yeah, desert storage is very affordable. So we insured it yesterday on Monday morning when we got up, it was $247 to add it to my homeowner's and auto policy. It's going to cost us $62.50 to keep it here. So indeed, it's a hole in the water we're going to pour money into, but luckily the maintenance fees aren't too bad for us right now. It's mainly going to be buying sails and such. And everybody says you should only keep your sail for 5 years, and every boat I looked at had 20-year sails on it. So I think a lot of non-sailors don't abide by keeping your sails for only 5 years. I think that's kind of a racing
But these
term.
definitely look shredded and we will replace them.
So we'll get the benefit of having new stiff sails to learn with rather than the worn out 28-year-old MacGregor sails. But the rest of the boat looks really mint. We're very happy with it. We wanted basically a stock boat. We looked at some that had a lot of customizations to them, and they're all things we'd probably want to do, but they're also customizations that the owner probably made 20 years ago in their youth, and all their customizations were definitely decaying. So much like my own DIYs will definitely look 20 years from now. But we'd rather not inherit somebody else's problems. Mostly this boat is bone stock as it was, and it really preserved well. No rust, fiberglass all looks mint. The gel coat is really nice. Just, you know, faded windows, faded stripes, and shredded sails. All right, I think we're gonna be starting our motor here in the next hour and motor it back over to the marina and attempt to put it back on the trailer. Getting off the trailer was super easy.
It really was not as complicated as I thought it might be.
Yeah. And there are fish jumping everywhere.
Yeah, there's fish jumping everywhere.
And Lake Powell in mid-October was perfectly nice at night. I think it was like 62 degrees at dinner time. Probably got down to 50 something last night. But we were tucked away under that rear berth. It's plenty warm all night with no heat or anything out here on the water. And the porta potty works, so that's good. All right, bye-bye.
And scene.
I mean, it's safe to have it filled. It's unsafe to have it half filled and your ballast is switching from one side of your boat to the other.
Oh, I know nothing about sail.
So that's not good.